And they derive great satisfaction and bliss in enlightening one another and conversing about me. And Srila Prabhupada, in the mood of the great acharyas, they created temples to educate people in spiritual life. Today, in many parts of India, people go to the temple and they just see the deity, and they don't really know who the deity is. And they give some donation, and they bow down, and they ask for something, and then they go. Haribo, you think Ramanujacharya, Jamunacharya built that gigantic temple at Sri Rangam for that? Tirupati, hundreds and thousands of people coming up. Madhvacharya and Udupi, Shankaracharya, Badrinath. These incredible temples have been developed by these great acharyas. But when they were built, these temples were not just a place to have a darshan, to give a donation, and to ask something from God. They were spiritual universities. They were educational centers where people came to learn how to see the Lord, how to love the Lord, how to serve the Lord, how to purify their hearts, how to harmonize their entire lives in the spirit of devotion. And people should become so surcharged, energized, and enlightened with knowledge that they go home and make their homes into beautiful temples, where Krishna is the center of the family, where the holy name, the discussions of Krishna are a very, very essential priority role, priority of the family. And that is why Srila Prabhupada established temples. He established community centers wherein people could be educated in the purpose and the goals of life and how to achieve it. And then some people will come and live in the temple and give their lives to helping others understand these things. But the majority of society will become enlightened, inspired. They will go home. And they will utilize their own home and generate the interest of their family to live a life of service, a life of devotion, a life of purity, a life of happiness, and find real fulfillment. Devo, is there any questions?
The personality before you came to this camp, how did you put your faith in Srila Prabhupada?
I explained that last week. Srila Prabhupada answered all questions I had. And he was also a personification of true compassion, true selfless service, and true love for Krishna. And whatever he spoke, whatever he did, was supported by the authority of the Holy Scriptures and the great acharyas. So he was a person I could put complete faith in my life. Is there any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes, please.
When we live our life, we try to do everything right by working with God and everything. So, personally, I feel I have done everything that we're supposed to be doing, like praying God, walking in the path of Hinduism and everything. So, what went wrong in my life that my daughter had to fall critically ill? And at that time, I was very challenged as to does God exist or not. How would you explain that? I mean, what do you think he had in mind for me at that time. She did recover. She's right here. She did recover. But those 6 weeks were, in a way, made me think that what went wrong? Was there something like from my side or my family's side? That what I'm trying to say is, how would you explain God's Mahima in this thing?
Thank you. Tadvijnanatam sugurum eva abhigacchate. Let me ask you, what does it mean when you say you are a Hindu? What does that mean? Does it mean you follow the Vedic scriptures?
What I mean, that Hinduism is what, as you say, we are devotees of Lord Krishna. Krishna was, I believe, is whatever he had to say, whatever he wants us to practice is Hinduism. The path that he wants us to go.
So to understand what he said and the path that he wants us to follow, we must hear from him. That means he spoke Bhagavad Gita.
I did start reading the Gita.
Tadviti pranipatena pariprashnena seva. Krishna says in Gita, if you want to understand the truth, you have to have Guru. The real path of truth begins, actually, when we really know what we're supposed to do and how to do it. And we know what this world is and how to live in it. In the great scriptures and in the words of the great acharyas, the result of really following the path of Dharma is not that there will not be material tragedies. You have chosen to live in a world of tragedies. Can you jump in the ocean and not get wet? Can we live in the world without sorrow? The fact is, everyone must die. This is a world where there is danger at every step. Padam, padam, yadi, padam, nakesham. And there's no technology, there is no atheistic philosophy, and there is no religion or spiritual system that will change that. It's the nature of the world. I mean, people have their karmas, and people have their influences by various elements that are around them, and they're suffering. Look at Yudhishthira Maharaj. Was he a good Hindu? He never told a lie. He had complete faith in God. He was an absolutely pure soul. But look what happened to him. He lost everything. And Kunti Devi was the very embodiment of Dharma. And she had grandchildren that were murdered. Her children were banished to the forest. Yes? What was her greatness? What was Yudhishthira's greatness? That even in the face of all that, they found ultimate refuge and shelter in the remembrance of God, in the name of God. And they shared that with others. You have to die.